Otakuology Podcast with Otaku Mike Engine Graves.
And so, we've been talking about this stuff for hours and whatnot. And look, Mike decided to join us.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You wouldn't have, I started the show like an hour and a half ago, and I've been waiting on you the whole time talking to our listeners.
That is not true. Anyways.
But
look, okay, I had a long but fun night last night. I am fucking tired.
I just think
tired.
it's funny. I just think it's funny how you said all that stuff together.
Why?
Because it sounded like you said I had a fun butt night.
I did have a fun butt. I mean, somebody did touch my butt a couple times. And it's not who you think.
Who is I going to think touched your butt?
I don't know. It's a long story, okay?
It's a long story. There's somebody else that I think is going to touch your butt.
We're not going to. It was a random groper.
Where were the police for that one at?
Not around.
Be like, you guys make sure that nobody grows people in chains. How come you didn't make sure that they didn't do that to me?
I like to be wined and dined before I get fucked. Just saying.
Oh my gosh, that could go so many ways now. Oh my gosh.
I'm just fucking tired. Long night. It was a long night last night.
So
I'm gonna say.
So can anybody wine and dine you, or do they have to pass some kind of preliminary test, or?
You have to pass a couple preliminary tests.
Okay.
We have to gel, have good conversation, and then you have to pass the levels of
femininity.
Yes. I don't know where I'm going with that. I'm just gonna be honest.
I don't know, because all I could imagine is some guy running up to you with Gillade shaving gel and being like, "All right, let's gel together." And then you said you had to have good conversation. I was like, "Oh, just take him to Barnes and Noble; it'll be okay." And then then you have to get through levels of, and you're like, and I was like, this could go wrong because right now you could be bisexual.
I mean, I have to obviously be attracted to the person, and then if we hit it off, that's a thing. But
Oh, so what you're saying in this instance is I'm screwed because you're attracted to me?
Yes.
Oh shit.
Yes, I am.
Well, we did touch tips that one time.
In a heterosexual way, I am attracted to you.
We did touch tips that one time.
We did. We touched burrito tips, not actual tips. It was burritos. Not our wieners. We didn't touch our wieners together.
And you can go to our Otakuology Instagram page and see those pictures for yourself.
True. Anyways.
But getting into our discussion today,
we
are talking about the new Marvel special event, I guess is kind of what they advertise it as.
Presentation? I don't know what you would call it. A short film?
Yeah.
For the spooky season, because it's technically horror. We're talking about Werewolf by Night. Now, I gotta ask you this. Have you ever heard of Werewolf by Night?
Yes.
Is it because I told you about it?
No.
Okay.
It's because I had to ask you about it because, when the first episode of Moon Knight came out, you could scan the little barcode in the museum off the TV, and it would bring up his first appearance in Werewolf by Night.
Yeah.
So Really, that was it. That's all I knew.
Yeah.
About Werewolf by Night, besides that he was tied into like the little Agents of Shield horror group with Elsa Bloodstone and whatnot.
They're not Shield agents in that.
No, there's Shield agents in that movie that I was telling you about, the animated movie.
I don't think I've seen that one.
Yeah, it's
Um,
very heavy Hulk, Doctor Strange based around with those characters in it, and they fight the Dream Demon or whatever, Malekith.
Well, I knew Werewolf by Night from the Marvel Max series.
Yeah.
That was his miniseries that he had. That was like more like adult oriented, and that's how I know him as. So I'm not like 100% up on my Jack Russell lore or anything like that, because they don't always do things with Jack Russell like Werewolf by Night. I know they introduced kind of like a new Werewolf by Night recently, kind of within the last year.
Yeah.
Which I kind of wonder if they crossed that new version with this version, because in it they reference, "Oh, I'm paying homage to my ancestors," which was, I think his was more like a Native American,
Yeah.
like werewolf type of thing. But anyways, that's beside the point. That's what I kind of got from that, But
yeah. Well, and the only other thing I had is one of the comic bundle that was based around them that was like super old that was made.
Yeah.
So, because that had like the mummy guy in it and some other stuff like that. So.
What did you think about when I was like, "Hey, let's watch Werewolf by Night"? This is technically the first Marvel thing that we're covering for the podcast.
I was like, oh boy, it's already on my list. I've actually already watched this.
I was like, oh shit, Werewolf by Night's out. I wonder if we can cover it this weekend.
Right?
And you're like, yeah, we'll try to squeeze it in.
Yeah.
We'll try to squeeze it in.
Well, and so one of my only upsets is that, we know that we had the whole comic book thing with Moon Knight, so I was expecting like Moon Knight to maybe like show up just for like a thing, or for us to have a little thing at the very end of this with him in it, and we never did. So
I mean, this is very much its own self-contained thing.
Yes.
But I can see this going in some really cool ways, especially if Marvel embraces their horror roots, and stuff like that. So that's one thing I'm really looking forward to. But you went ahead and get into. We'll talk about this, and we'll jerk off Werewolf by Night.
Yeah. No.
No.
Not happening.
No. Not at all.
So we come into the Bloodstone Mansion area. Basically, after Ulysses Bloodstone, the original holder of
he is a famous monster hunter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hunted a bunch of monsters. That's another thing. Like in his house, he's got this big room, and you see it, and there's all these artifacts and different stuff that are supposed to help kill different monsters and whatnot. And he's got heads of the different monsters in different places, and very much like a big game hunter kind of guy.
Mm-hmm. Very much. That's very much what I got out of it. Like, he was a big game hunter, but for monsters.
Yeah.
Although when I first watched it, I was a little confused. I was like, "Are all these people Bloodstones?" Then I was like, "Oh wait, no, they're not."
Right. Well,
I was a little distracted by that at first. I was like, "What's going on here?" Because you're not like really given context. You just like, oh, these people are here for Ulysses Bloodstone's funeral, and to see who gets to take up the mantle of Bloodstone and use the artifact, which is called the Bloodstone, which is a big magical red rock.
Yes.
And I love when they're kind of going into like this world has like legends and or heroes and marvels. When we see like the Avengers in like a almost like a it's like a book or something and then it's like, oh, but
Yeah.
there's more to this world. There's more than uh
There's the dark side that you
the
don't
dark
see.
side that you don't. Yeah, exactly. And you get into like and it starts to turn gray and black, and uh we see our main character Jack Russell enter into the fray, and he
Which,
seems.
well, and what did you think about the opening? The traditional Marvel opening that we're
Oh,
used to.
I thought that was cool.
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah,
So
when
for anybody that
it's
hasn't seen it, we start out going in through the regular. Hey, let's go
it's the
around the
regular Marvel
letters.
flip, and then it transforms.
Yeah, and then the screen fades to like black and white, and then you just see these whoosh, like something scratching the screen.
Even like the music turns. It's like this more horror version of the Marvel theme song.
Yes, so
No, I
it
thought
was
that was
great.
cool. I like that. I thought that was really cool. There's a very nice touch to it. And
Yes,
but we see our main character Jack Russell come into this I guess it's like a mansion, or what was it exactly he was in?
I think it's like I think it is a mansion. It's the Bloodstone Mansion.
Like a compound of some kind.
Yeah,
Um and so we get that. I like seeing all like the pictures on the walls of like the different like monsters they were killing, and you could see like he was kind of uneasy, which we don't really get this, but that's what I took away from it. Like he's not supposed to be there,
hmm
like almost like he took the place of somebody else.
Oh, that Jack Russell's not supposed to be there.
Yeah.
Well, so he is supposed to be
Okay.
there. The only thing is he is under that thing of darkness
Hmm.
that he because he's got all those kills basically from being the werewolf by night.
Okay, but they don't know.
They don't
He's
know that he's like a monster hunting monsters
okay.
basically.
Okay. Because that's where I was a little confused. I thought maybe he could have taken it from like the metal that they're supposed to have with them from somebody, possibly,
Yeah.
and went there because of reasons he goes there, which we will find out later, which I was ecstatic about when I find out why he's there exactly. I squeed like a little girl, just gonna say like that right now. I got excited. My nerd boner like shot up to like full mast at that point. I was not actual boner, like it's a metaphorical boner. Okay.
I'm done with you. I am done with you.
But I love this part where we go into like the big like main room of the compound, and we see like all the different kills on the wall that they're mounted up.
Yeah.
And I like, and like we see Jack going around and he's looking at everybody. Everybody's kind of like eyeballing him of sorts. And we don't know why he's there, but they're there to celebrate the passing of
Ulysses.
Ulysses. I like the one guy. He's like, "Hey, how's it going? I got 53 confirmed kills."
58.
Was it 58? Okay, 58 confirmed kills. He's like, "It's my 30th season. Put her there, pal." And and it's like, "Okay, we're going with this." Okay. But we
Right.
find what did you think of this part?
This guy was weird.
They were all kind of weird, but I don't even remember what their names were.
Well, and the weird thing is, so there are a couple characters that you just didn't know, like maybe they had filled them out kind of different.
Yeah.
But at the end, whenever you're watching the credits, because we don't really know anybody's name except for one person that gets mentioned at one point,
Yeah.
which is the Viking guy. I think his is Vorn.
I didn't even know his name.
They mention it at one point. That's it.
Okay.
Somebody yells at him, and they yell his name. Now the other people, I I didn't know who they were, so when I saw the credits, like you have Azrael and
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, two other weird names or whatever, but they're all guys. I thought one of them was a girl, but they're all guys.
I know which one you're talking about. The one who was all in white.
Yes.
I thought he was a girl too,
Yeah.
or a
So
woman. I thought he was a woman.
so that's one thing that we do kind of have that's a little weird in it, that there's just it's a sausage party basically.
Yeah, except for two people. You know, we get to those people. Uh, but we
Uh,
enter in. We find out that the person running it is Ulysses' widow, or I guess his second or third wife. I'm not for sure.
it's his second wife.
Okay, second wife. And we find out that Elsa, somebody named Elsa, is here, and this is Elsa Bloodstone.
Yeah.
And I got so excited when I found out Elsa Bloodstone was in this. Because talk about a very, very uh, unutilized character
Right?
within the Marvel Comics universe. Like, she's not like too old of a character. She came out in like 2000, 2001. So she's
Yeah.
not like terribly old, but like she doesn't get a lot of like traction or like fanfare about her. She's basically the Marvel version of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but with
Yes.
monsters. Um,
Yes.
and I got excited. And I was like, "Oh my god, this is so cool!" You know. And I don't remember who was playing her. Let me look. Let me look that up and see how.
I know, because we talked about that too, and the only thing that anybody I watched it with again last night was
Her name was Laura Donnelly. That's her name was.
they knew her from Outlander, and that was it.
Okay, yeah, I didn't know who she was, but I knew who the character she was playing. And Elsa Bloodstone has come back to take her birthright to get the Bloodstone.
Which did you feel? Did you feel weird that they took from the traditional material and gave her black hair compared to when she's supposed to have red hair?
Well, it's in black and white.
Well, even at the end, it's black hair.
Is it?
Yeah, whenever they're like modern day and they put it separate in
that
color.
doesn't bother me. That doesn't bother me.
Okay.
I don't care. I felt like they nailed the character pretty well,
Yeah.
like vibe wise and personality wise. That honestly I didn't even notice. Like that's something I didn't notice at all.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, she does have red hair in the comic books.
Yeah.
She does, yeah. But I like it. Like, you know, she's been away for years. She's given up the Bloodstone like name and tradition, I guess. But she's like, I just want what's mine. I want what's mine. And her stepmom, her evil, wicked stepmom, is upset that this is going on. And she's like, you don't need to be here, but it's okay. You're here. You can compete in our thing that we're doing tonight, you know?
Yeah.
And what did you think about this next part where they go to like the memorial?
They sit down.
They sit down. Oh, they sit down, and I love the part where she's like the stepmom's talking. She's like, "He was a very good man. I loved him. He was a really good lover." And this and that, and all you see is Elsa dragging a chair across the room.
Yeah.
Like she's totally like annoying these people right now, and I love that part. Like I thought that was a very nice touch, and to to ruin the get together, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
But
Because
the,
they did just have that argument outside
yeah,
before all that talk or whatever,
yeah,
about how Elsa's not even trained or whatever in the Bloodstone ways, and
yeah,
that's where she says, "No, I've done my own training." So
yeah.
obviously,
Because she's more like her mother than her father, is
yeah,
what I believe they said. Um, but what did you think about the part with the casket? Where
the
the casket kind of becomes like a jack in a box.
Oh, you mean the ventriloquist thing?
Yeah.
It really reminded me of a Zoltar fortune teller machine.
Oh, I can see that totally.
Because
Like,
he's in there, he's got his hands crossed, everything else, and the coffin opens up, and then it just starts moving like a puppet. So
yeah.
his arms pop open like he's doing the Jesus sign, like come here, and then the hands just start moving or whatever
Yeah.
animatronically, and you
Yeah.
hear like a recording of him supposedly, but it sounds like it's been damaged
Yeah.
in places because it'll be like, thanks everybody for coming here tonight, and blah 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 blah, and it kind of fades in and out sometimes with that as well.
Yeah, it does. But they're all there to see who can compete for the Bloodstone.
But
And
I think it does show you though how um about himself that Ulysses probably was, which is why
yeah,
Elsa didn't want to stay with him.
yeah, I can see that. But yeah, they're all going to compete for the Bloodstone to hunt down this monster. The monster's going to have the Bloodstone attached to him. And this whole thing where this was interesting to where they had to draw to see who was going to be first to enter in it was like a maze or labyrinth they were in,
Yeah,
and they could only get weapons from inside the labyrinth,
yeah,
um which is interesting. And who wants to be led into the big scary maze with like a giant flaming tuba?
right.
That was so fucking weird.
It was hilarious.
It was
We
I
were
was like
sitting there watching, and I was like, I love that tuba.
what's going on here?
Brrr.
But Jack gets number one, and he obviously goes in there. He happens to cross paths with Elsa, and he's like, "Let's
Oh,
just pass. Let's not
and
kill each other."
they are told that if you go into this, like, everything's free game. Like if they want to fight each other, they can.
Yeah, yeah,
So
basically, yeah,
it does turn into like a Hunger Games scenario with
almost,
a monster there too that you're trying
yeah.
to hunt.
And I love this part where Jack's like, "Yeah, let's just not do this. Let's just move along," you
Well,
know.
I got a question for you real quick.
Okay,
Uh, right before we go into the maze.
okay.
So, what did you think about those dad jokes that Ulysses' corpse told at the very end?
Oh, that was funny.
It was like, "I'll be rotting for you."
Yeah,
I was like, "Oh God,
that was stupid. It was stupid but
is
funny.
this what dad jokes are supposed to be like?" And then he's like, "Forgive my graveyard humor."
No, I thought that was funny.
And I
I,
was like, "Oh God."
I thought that was really funny. But I like this part where Elsa and Jack meet,
The
and
first
then
time,
the first time, and the big Irish man decides to mess things up, and I think he tried to cock block my boy Jack. So I feel like there was something between Elsa and him a little bit. Just saying. Um, but I love this fight with them. And Elsa definitely really shines in this part of
yeah,
the special,
yeah,
where there was this part where the the big Irish guy, grabs her head and starts bashing her head into like a rock, and I was like, oh, that's fucking brutal. And then we move on. She escapes, and we see her in front of like this crypt thing, and somebody's inside the crypt, and they try to shoot her with like a dart gun thing. And this part I thought was really cool, where she gets the guy's hand, cuts his hand off, and they start fighting. So this guy's fighting with one hand.
yeah,
And every time he moves, blood squirts out of his nub. And I was like, the detail they have on here is I didn't catch it the first time, but the second time I saw it, I caught it. And he loses his dart gun thing, and she like shoots him in the fucking like chin, and it goes through his mouth. And I
yeah,
was like, that's so brutal. And then he grabs him, because the Irish guy or whatever he is coming through, and she's like, shh, 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 be quiet, be quiet, be quiet. And so she's hiding in like this tall grass, and she's covering his mouth so he doesn't make a sound while he's dying on top of her.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, she's fucking hardcore. I love her. I love her. Yeah, I thought that was cool, you know.
Well, and then we have where she goes somewhere, but she ends up going into the crypt area and getting locked in there. And
was it she gets locked in there, or was it she just goes in there because she gets hurt?
No, she goes in there to tie herself up or whatever, tie up her or bandage her wound.
Okay.
And the door has an automatic lock on it.
Okay, I didn't see that part.
Yeah, that's why whenever Jack runs in there, she's like no, and that's why she goes to the door, because.
But I love the scene. Is it the scene before this where Jack
scene before they get locked in the thing?
Jack runs into Ted.
Yes.
He
backs into a bush.
Do you know who Ted is?
Yeah.
That's the man thing.
It's the man thing.
I got so excited because there was a Man Thing movie back in the day, and it was terrible. And to see Marvel bring Man Thing to life,
yeah,
and to see him, I was so ecstatic, so excited. It was fun. He looked really good.
He did.
Like, yeah. I was like, oh, like he didn't look like your typical CGI. It looked like he had like a real like weight to him almost. Yeah. I love that he had like things like growing off of him. Like at one point he has like a flower growing off of him and stuff. But yeah, I like it that we find out what Jack is there for. It's to protect Ted, and Ted's the monster.
It's to come find him.
He's going to find him and protect him, basically. Because I want to say he got caught.
Yeah, because that's when he's like, "This is the last time I'm coming to save you."
So, do you think he got caught multiple times by the Bloodstones, or was it just this one time?
Yeah.
Yes or no?
Well, I think it was just him getting into multiple situations.
Okay.
Maybe not him.
Because I wasn't for sure if he got caught multiple times, or was this the first time he ever got caught?
No, I think it was just him. This is one of the situations where he got caught.
Yeah.
Not because he says, "This is the last time I'm getting you out of this stuff."
But they end up getting chased by one of the hunters, and this is where Jack gets in the crypt with Elsa. We find out that Jack's not a bad guy. Elsa finds out he's not a bad person. He's he's there to help the monster, not hurt the monster.
Yeah.
And
he doesn't want the Bloodstone.
Yeah, he doesn't want the Bloodstone. He just wants to help his friend. And I think that's very commemorable to, that Jack does that, help his friend out.
This is when they're in the crypt. This is one of the parts I thought was funny.
Yeah.
Is because I was trying to figure out why none of the caskets actually had Bloodstone on them.
I think they were all like, I think they were all crew members.
Yeah, they were prop designers.
Yeah, one of them said Bloodstone on it, I believe.
Yeah, the one that she actually needed to get the tools and stuff out of.
Yeah.
Which is just funny seeing some of the names, because you see them clear.
Yeah.
You have that, and then she has whatever her great aunt is.
She talked about if she was locked in the tomb, her great aunt would break out or something, if I remember correctly.
It was not if she was locked in the tomb, if that she was ever bad, that her aunt would come get her or
Okay.
whatever.
Okay.
And that her aunt also had kind of this way that she always thought that she would return. She would always come back to life, and she needed a way out of the crypt, so she had a pair of keys with her as well.
Mm-hmm. And so they end up breaking out, and they kind of form a team.
Well, they get the keys, and they get this little claw thingy.
Yeah.
So,
and this is where I got confused. I was confused as to how Jack had explosives with him.
he had picked him up.
He picked it up. Okay,
Yeah.
I was a little vague on that because he had one with him, I think. And he was like, I don't know how to use this.
Yeah,
like,
that's one thing that I know everybody that I've talked to that has watched this kind of wanted more of, is knowing where just a few scenes of like where things got picked up from or whatever, because we are kind of covering this stuff almost in like an entire night, and it does jump pretty hard.
Yeah, no, it does.
On different stuff, and somebody will have something, and then next, like you have to allude to stuff. Like we didn't see Elsa walk into the crypt. We have to assume she went in there and it just got locked.
Yeah, but I love this part where he accidentally turns it on. He's like, "Oh shit!" And Elsa tells him to go to the specific part of the place. There's a crack in the wall, and I like it where he goes, like he throws it, he thinks it's gonna stick, but it doesn't, just bounces off.
It's gonna stick, so
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh shit, I gotta go put it up," and it falls back down.
Yeah, he sticks it on the wall and it stays.
It stays, but it falls off, and he's like, "I gotta put it in the crack," and then it blows up.
Right.
I thought that was fucking hysterical. And that was a really good gag.
And then the other funny thing is on the other side of that is Elsa finds Ted.
Yeah, Ted finds Ted.
And before that, Jack had told her, "Hey, you have to talk to him like you're talking to a friend.
Yeah.
Call him Ted,
or he'll burn you alive."
Yeah. And which I didn't know that. So he's got some kind of power besides regenerative plant powers or whatever.
He's also like
that whenever he if you're scared of him, it does that much damage to you.
If I remember, I think he's also a portal to the Marvel Universe. I can't remember exactly what. He has some really, really weird powers. Like, if I remember correctly, I think he's one of the strongest beings in the Marvel Universe.
I know he becomes like a god at some point.
But I'm not 100% sure. I'm not up on my Man-Thing lore. I've only read a little bit of Man-Thing. But I love Man-Thing, what I've read of it.
It's just really bad saying it. It's just really bad saying Man-Thing, because then I was waiting for you to be like, "Oh yeah, I want Man-Thing in my face."
I want Man-Thing's thing in my face.
You don't have to say thing. It already sounds like you're saying you want a man's thing in your face.
I want Man-Things in my face.
And this is the start of Brokeback Mountain.
I can't quit you.
A Ted and Mike story.
I can't quit you.
I'm done with you. I don't know. I've never seen it. I can't tell you what you're talking about.
Okay, I watched Brokeback Mountain. Side note, I've watched it, and it's actually a pretty good movie. It's a sad movie. It made me cry. Okay. Anyways, back on talking about Werewolf by Night. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so Ted is going to escape, and they happen to get the Bloodstone off of him, and
well, he grabs the big Viking guy.
Yeah, and he
burns him.
He kills him. He doesn't last long. I love that effect. How he burned kind of slowly.
Yeah, he burned from the head down.
Yeah, that was cool. I like that.
Yeah.
But so Ted is trying to escape through the giant hole that's in the wall. Everybody's coming to where Jack and Elsa are. They get the Bloodstone. The Bloodstone's on the ground, and Jack goes to reach for the Bloodstone, and it attacks him and knocks him out. and we find out the only thing that does will the Bloodstone will do this to are monsters.
Right.
And this is where everybody finds out, oh, you've been a monster this whole time. And you've been like working with us and, hunting and stuff like that. We have to kill you, basically. And
Right.
so they take Jack and Elsa, put them in a cage, and Jack wakes up and Elsa is afraid. Elsa is afraid, terrified of what's going to happen. And Jack is trying to reassure her and be like, look, things are going to be okay. I have things in check. That other part of me, doesn't come out. It's not 5 days until full moon.
Yeah, we have a week.
You have a week. And she's like, are you stupid? Are you fucking stupid? Because the Bloodstone will turn you in like 10 seconds or whatever it is.
5 seconds.
5 seconds. And he's like, oh no, like that's not good. And then we see the rest of the hunters and like these guards come in and they're like, yeah, we're gonna fucking uh, use you to kill Elsa. So I guess they can take the Bloodstone. I wasn't really for sure on that part,
So,
but
say that again.
They want Jack to kill Elsa?
Yeah.
And so they can take the Bloodstone.
No, they just wanted to get both of them dead at once. They were waiting for him to turn to be a monster, and then he would have already killed Elsa, and they didn't have to worry about anything with her.
Because the Bloodstone changes Jack. This part of the reveal of the werewolf was probably one of the best shots in this entire special, because it's very like, you don't see the transformation, but you see the transformation through shadow behind Elsa. And I loved that. That was such a really good transformation scene.
Yeah.
And that, and like you could see like the terror in Elsa's eyes. And it was very much like, I mean, this definitely pays homage to like the Universal Monsters, Wolfman, like Lon Chaney and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And he looks a lot like the old Wolfman from like those old black and white movies.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just so amazed like how good it looked. But there was a part, and I was like, okay, this is kind of hokey, but he starts like, well, I thought it was cool and a little hokey at the same time.
Yeah.
Where he gets out of the cage and he starts to like attack all the bad guys.
Yeah.
And he starts doing like almost like a werewolf kung fu. Almost.
Oh, you mean when he's jumping around?
He's jumping around and like fighting them and stuff. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, this is brutal. Like, this is brutal. Like, he was like biting people's ears off. He bit somebody's hand off. He was just killing people left and right. Like, it was a cool action scene. I really liked it.
Yeah, but it also lets us know there, like, his 100 kills was accurate.
Yeah.
Compared to everybody else.
No, that's true, because he takes them out very, very easily.
And he even takes out part of these other hunters, like, with ease. Almost.
But I love the part. There's a part in this where they're like in like a hallway or a corridor, and the gates slowly shutting, and you see him fighting in front of this gate, and there's like blood splattering on the camera lens.
Yeah,
and he's like, and it's slowly going down, so it's slowly getting darker, and you see this guy cowering in the back behind him. He's like, oh, I hope this fucker doesn't turn around. Please don't turn around,
Yeah.
But he just slaughters them all.
And this part I really like, where we got the blood splatter on the camera, and it stays with it the whole time.
Oh yeah, it's on the camera like a lot. Like at this point, yeah. It doesn't like cut away at this part, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
But we get to see Elsa Bloodstone be competent, and she kills the other hunters, which is really cool to see her do that. And we get so Jack gets taken out by Elsa's stepmom with the bloodstone, right?
Yes. Well,
And then
not like taken out, just kind of knocked down.
knocked out, kind of. And he goes to Steve. Elsa goes to check on Jack, and Jack is about to attack her, but he remembers her, and he kind of like takes off.
Yes.
He takes off, and this part was really funny. I thought it was funny. Where Elsa's stepmom is like, you ruined the Bloodstone name, you know, and she's like, I'm gonna fucking kill you. And then Ted shows up out of nowhere and just kills her.
Yeah.
And you see him like walk. He's like, and Elsa's like, oh, he went that way. And so we get this like,
Well, and it's really funny. So if you really like listen to it, he was kind of saying stuff. It's just muttered.
yeah, he was like, where you go?
And it was funny because part of the people I was watching it, they were like, I don't get it, And I go, this is what he said, and I would like translate it, and they're like, no, that's not what he said. And I was like, that is what he said.
This part where she's like, oh, he went that way, and you get this like bird's eye view of everything, all the dead bodies, and you see Ted. He's trying to not step on the dead bodies.
Yeah.
I thought that was adorable.
Oh, it was hilarious.
It was adorable. And then we see Elsa. She is now the leader of the Bloodstone organization or whatever it is. And
Yeah,
this
which was hilarious.
With the butler.
Because then you have the butler, and he's like, "How may I serve you?" And she goes, "Clean these bodies up."
She's like, clean this shit up.
Yeah.
But
So that was hilarious.
This last part with Elsa, I was a little confused. Where she goes to sit in the chair and like then it becomes color.
I think it was trying to say that it was now like more modern day.
Okay, because I was a little confused on that part, but I liked it. I liked it because it went with Somewhere Over the Rainbow, and I thought that was a nice touch. But I didn't understand why it went from black and white to color. Like, am I supposed to know why?
I think it went from black and white to color because now they're saying that they're bringing all that stuff up to date.
Okay.
I think that's what it's supposed to be because now, like with the Black Knight and the Blade series coming out, just different other things that we have like that. I think now all of this stuff could be intertwined with it,
I hope it is.
So we could have a Moon Knight thing, and now Jack or Elsa or Ted or anybody could be in it, So I kind of think that's what that had a semblance of, but I'm not 100% sure. I thought they were going to use that part because, like we talked about earlier, clearly it does look like she had black hair because it was all in black and white. And I thought they would probably use that scene to turn her hair orange, but they didn't. So I kind of wonder if we will ever get that, if she will always have the black hair, where any of that stuff will actually come from.
But I like the last scene in this special where we see Jack. He's knocked out or he's asleep. He's in like a makeshift like hut or like a tent basically, or
it's just sticks tied together.
Yeah, it's like a little teepee almost.
Yeah, with a cloak over him from one of the dead bodies.
And you see Ted sitting on a log playing solitaire. He has coffee made for Jack, and he's like talking to him. He's like, "Yeah, of course I saved the day." He's like, and Jack's like, "What do you mean you saved the day? That's not like you." He's like, "Yeah, I saved the day, He's like, "Okay, whatever." And he asks about Elsa if Elsa's safe, and he's like, "I owe you one, Ted. Let's go get sushi." And you can pick where we go get sushi.
It wasn't "let's go get sushi." He said, "I had sushi."
Did he?
Yeah, it was a joke that Jack was full because of him eating part of the people.
I thought he meant to go get sushi.
No, he was saying because it was raw, he ate people.
Oh.
as the
Okay.
werewolf.
That's funnier then.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
funnier.
yeah. That's what it was.
Okay. But I mean, that's how the special ends. What did you think about this?
Um, I mean, it was enjoyable. Um, I feel like I would have liked a little more stuff kind of fleshed out a little more. Um, they could have made it at that to the hour mark and it would have still been
I
fine as a movie.
I think you could possibly do one of these every year. Like every Halloween, you get another adventure.
That's true.
You know,
That's true. And I mean, we don't know if that's the plan behind it or whatever.
yeah. We don't
The
we don't know
only
what the plan is.
the only problem with any of that would be is obviously your actors and actresses getting
Yeah,
older every year. So they'd have to do them all kind of at once, I would think, and then release them the following years coming out.
yeah.
But it would just depend.
But
Um,
I have to commend Marvel for doing something like this. Because it's definitely characters a lot of the mainstream normies don't know about.
yes.
And apparently it's doing really well. And this could lead to more stuff within the Marvel universe, which would be really cool to see.
Well, and we have everything coming up with uh what's the team? There's one of the teams that's coming up that focuses kind of on these guys.
If you're talking about the Midnight Suns,
I think that's what it is.
Midnight Suns hasn't like officially been announced yet, but I could
I
see
don't
them
know.
build. I could see them building up to a Midnight Suns.
Somebody was telling me that there was one thing where there was another group that was kind of like these that was getting built up,
There's
but
the
I don't know which one.
Thunderbolts, which are bad guys.
Maybe I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know, but yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the kind of '70s homage
this was like 50s.
to those old movies and whatnot because
It was it, it
we had the
wasn't
little black dots
70s.
and stuff too. Whatever month year it was,
It was like 40s, 50s.
whatever month year it was.
You don't know.
But where we had like the black dots on the screen too. That's very
Yeah,
old movie like as well. I thought that was
yeah.
pretty creative that those were added in there here and there as well.
hmm Yeah, there was some nice creative touches and stuff like that. I enjoyed this more the second time I watched it than the
Yeah.
first time. Uh, I started to pick up on things. I'll probably have to watch it again. Just so you know, but I did enjoy it. It was a lot of fun. It was honestly kind of a breath of fresh air from
Right.
like your normal Marvel superhero stuff because it was superhero horror and
Right. Well, and not only that, it was different than kind of the TV shows because
yeah,
the TV shows really focus on trying to flesh out the characters a lot more, and this one didn't exactly do that. It just was
yeah,
like,
it didn't do it.
let me, it kind of started out the way that it actually started out, where it's like, hey, there's other things in the world, these heroes, but there's a darker side. So,
Yeah, there's a darker side to what's
you know,
going on here.
so we had kind of that stuff get pulled out of it.
Yeah, no, totally, yeah. But I enjoyed it. Out of 5, I'll give it a 3.5. I enjoyed it.
Okay.
I enjoyed it. I want more.
I'd probably go with 4.
I want more. I give it 3.5 because I did have some questions and I was a little confused at times. But
What
that's
questions
just me.
did you have?
Well, just more like, why was he like why how did he get there? Why was he there? That whole thing, like the whole setup to the beginning with Jack. Because Jack was very much a mystery
Yeah.
in the beginning. I was a little confused. I
Oh,
feel like maybe a couple lines of dialogue you could smooth that out a little bit.
yeah. He just showed up.
Yeah, he just showed up. Random werewolf.
He said I showed up to get my TED Talk back.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So hopefully we will be seeing these characters more so in future episodes of hopefully other shows.
I think after Blade comes out, you'll start to see them more.
Yeah.
I think so.
So, who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next Tuesday. And remember the biggest important thing. That Otaku Mike did not eat pizza this morning, okay?
I didn't.